It's Palm Sunday, and we're going to take the road that leads home today. As we celebrate Easter this month, and next week is Easter, we're having an Easter moment every week. And what is an Easter moment? It's that moment when we consciously, intentionally, deliberately let something die that does not serve us anymore, so that we can all rise into a heightened spiritual awareness, a new consciousness, and an expanded way of revealing the spiritual nature that is already ours. It's already who we are, so that we can, in a greater and greater way, share our gifts with the world. And incidentally, that is the metaphysical interpretation that our New Thought teaching gives for Jesus' crucifixion and resurrection. This month we're exploring having Easter moments in various areas of our life, and each week we're engaging in specific and sacred activity to support that Easter moment. And since today is Palm Sunday, we'll look at a simple and straightforward Easter moment that the Master Teacher Jesus gave to us on his way to Jerusalem. And then we're going to anchor it in our rose blessing. So what is the Easter moment that Jesus had before his Easter moment, which we'll talk about next week? Well, it's found in the Palm Sunday experience. It's found in Jesus' willingness to ride into Jerusalem knowing full well what was going to happen to him. He was willing to ride into the city, even being afraid as he was. And we know he was afraid because he went to the Garden of Gethsemane and he prayed and he said, "Lord, let this cup pass from me." And he had his disciples to go with him, and he asked them to stay awake with him. But they couldn't. They all fell asleep. And this is a powerful metaphor because sometimes it's easier to go unconscious than it is to face our fears, isn't it? But Jesus stayed awake to them, and despite them, and despite his fears, because he was grounded in an ultimate faith and trust in God. So we know this because he said, "But if this cup cannot pass, and if I must drink it, then let it be not as I will, but as thou wilt." That's ultimate faith and trust in God. Because he knew that he came here on this earth for a very important and special reason. And so did each and every one of you. So did each and every one of us come here for a very important and special reason. Remember, we explored that last week? Diane explored that with you last week? Jesus came to teach us many things because he was aware of all these things. But perhaps the greatest thing that he came here to teach us was what? Love. Love. He set aside his personal fears and doubts for love. Love, which is the life force at the very root of our nature, but which we're often afraid to give and to receive. Our being requires love, but we cannot exist without it, yet we're afraid to let it in or let it out. And love is a central theme to all spiritual paths. Just listen to this list of paraphrases from various spiritual belief systems. Hinduism: one can best worship the Lord through love. Buddhism: let a man cultivate toward the whole world a heart of love. Confucianism: to love all men is the greatest benevolence. Sikhism, Islam. God will regenerate those in whose hands there is love. Judaism, thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart and thy neighbor as thyself. Christianity, God is love, and he that abideth in love abideth in God, and God abideth in him. Religious science, that's us. In arms which are all-inclusive, divine love encompasses everything. Unity, God is love, and to live in God mind, man must cultivate love until it becomes a keynote of his life. And so it's through love, first love for ourselves and the gift of God that we are, and then love for humanity. Let's do a little experiment. Touch the arm of the person next to you and say, "You are so blessed." Did that feel good? Yeah. It really does feel good to shower love on another, even in a simple way, doesn't it? It's so simple. I love this note from the universe by Mike Dooley. I love notes from the universe. Did you know that whenever you feel love, you literally begin to glow? You probably did. But did you know that the glowing is actually made up of zillions of minute particles, sparkles? And that these sparkles receive as much energy as they create. And that because of this energy exchange, you completely stop aging and look younger. Abundance is immediately drawn to you. Healing powers fill you. Muscles are strengthened. Pounds are shed. And your vision improves. Lingering questions are answered. New friends are summoned. Old friends are poked. Problems are solved. And maple syrup tastes more mapley. All when you feel love. It's true, the universe. Yeah. Maple syrup tastes more mapley. I love that. Boy, that was sweet. Now let's add something to what you just said to your neighbor. Touch the arm of the person next to you and say, "You are so blessed to be sitting next to me." How did that feel, huh? You like that? If that didn't feel good to you, then you didn't get your lesson last week when we were here, but don't feel bad, it's okay. We'll give you another chance today. Every time that you decide to love yourself and another, you are changing your world, changing everything about it. Every time you love, even in a small way, you nurture your world and cause that to be multiplied and come back to you. What goes around comes around, right? That's the fruit of the Spirit. Do you want more love? Yeah. Yes. You have to give more love wherever you are and allow its magic to come back to you. Jesus said in the book of John, he said, "By this everyone will know that you are my disciples, if you have love for one another." Simple, once again, right? Simple. And Ricky Byers-Beckwith, Michael Beckwith's wife and partner, she wrote a wonderful song, and her song, she has a line in it that says, "In the end, love will have the final word." And we have a banner in the bookstore of the Dalai Lama that says, about what's important in life is, how well did I live? How well did I love? How well did I learn to let go? And that's what we're talking about today. How well did I live, and how well did I learn to let go of everything that doesn't serve me? So today you can create a miracle of love's presence in your life. Just remember that in the end, love will have the final word. Because love is the final word. So in a few moments, we're going to have our rose blessing ceremony, and we're going to anchor us in divine love. But before we do that, I want to invite you into this Easter moment experience. Close your eyes if you like. Go within. Get comfortable. Relax, breathe, and ask yourself this question: am I afraid to love? Am I fearful of fully stepping into love? Perhaps you've been hurt in the past in the name of love. Perhaps you've lost a love and are afraid to love again. And perhaps you didn't fully have an Easter moment last week and don't believe you deserve to have love in your life. Whatever it is, this morning I invite you to have an Easter moment around that. So right here in this room, let that fear die. Let it go. Release it fully and completely. Breathe through it right now. Feel it leaving your heart, your mind, and your body. Now hold your hands together as a cup. Then place any and all fear that you have around loving yourself, around being deserving of love, any fear of being hurt by love. Put all of that into your cupped hands. And then throw it up into the air, releasing all that fear as you do. See it dissolve into the nothingness from which it came. I see sparkling confetti flying in the air, dissolving and dissipating. See this happening and feel your shoulders, your heart, your mind relaxed, lifted, and lighter. Now move your awareness into your heart, into the heart of divine love. And listen to these profound words by Charles Fillmore, who was the co-founder of Unity. The love of God must be felt in the heart. It cannot be described, and one who has not felt it can have no concept of it from the description of others. But the more we talk about love, the stronger it grows in the consciousness. And if we persist in thinking loving thoughts and speaking loving words, we are sure to bring into our experience the feeling of that great love that is beyond description, the very love of God. Can you move to the next slide, David? Our weekly invitation is to help you live the message that we share here on Sunday mornings. And this week's invitation is based on an affirmation that Reverend Diane wrote, and it says this: I offer myself to love, I allow its beauty to grow in me, and leave its fragrance on all I see. Say that with me. I offer myself to love. I allow its beauty to grow in me and leave its fragrance on all I see. Very good, Diane. All right, now put up the next slide. And you can take a photo of this with your cell phone if you want. so you can use it. During the rose blessing, you're going to receive 2 affirmation cards, which has this affirmation on it, and one for you to use in your meditation every day this week, and one to give away. Find someone that you can pass this message along to. And this exercise is to bring to mind any person, this is what you're going to do this week, any person or situation in which you have withheld love. Then say the affirmation aloud, and then go into silence. And any time during the week that you feel yourself contract, resist, or withhold love, say this affirmation to yourself and feel the shift. And then say, thank you. So, our rose blessing. The rose blessing symbolizes in ceremony our recognition that the human is immersed in the divine, that we are all truly one in God, and that we live in the all-embracing circle of divine love. We recognize today that each of you comes forth from God, that each of you is a divine creation, and that this wholeness is the very being, the very life, and the very essence of you. Truly, you are made in God's image. This moment is a defining moment for each one of you. And after having an Easter moment around your ability to love, now you make a sacred and holy proclamation that you are love and that you live in love.